Juggalos in recovery. Juggalos in recovery. Juggalos in recovery.
All right. So the story that I have today is there's no real like good ending to it or whatever, but it's something that recently happened to me, and um, I figured I'd share it. And I guess the moral of it at the end is like kind of how you deal with difficult situations. And a difficult situation that came up for me was I logged into my job the other day and I got an email that said that if you receive another email within the next 30 minutes, you'll be fired. And they were reducing the workforce by like 10%, which is only maybe like 110 people or something at my company. And so for the next 30 minutes, was preparing for an email to come in, and I would no longer have a job, and this and that. And I waited, and there was no email that came in, and which is good, like I didn't get fired or whatever. And um, in the end, I should have been grateful for that. Like I got to keep my job, but I saw a bunch of my coworkers get canned and basically ruin their lives, and they had no warning. I kind of saw the writing on the wall with a couple things that was happening, and I was trying to prepare myself for like the worst, and the worst didn't happen to me. And I think I did a pretty good job handling it, like just kind of the idea of something bad was coming. And then when it actually happened, I think I handled it pretty well overall, but there's just, I don't know. I tried to be grateful for what I had, but other people were suffering. And this job that I have, it allowed me to, get sober. It was so flexible and they were so cool over the years. So it allowed me to get sober. It allowed me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally have been able to if I was like at a 9 to 5 job where I had to be on site and stuff. Um, so my gratitude, has slowly come back, but at the same time, I'm still kind of pissed off. And it's like, when next time am I going to make the cut next time? Again, I didn't really handle it very well. I didn't like snap on anybody. I didn't like really yell at anybody. I was very upset, obviously. And, I just handled it the best way I could. And looking back on it, the other night we were talking about self-reflection. So I was like reflecting on like, how could I have handled this better and how can I prepare for the future? I still don't really have an answer for how I can handle it in the future. Maybe look for another job, maybe do a few other things, but I don't know what I can do to prepare for it in the future. But I just know that looking back, there are a few things I could have done a lot better. I think I did overall very well. I would have like snapped on people and like told them exactly what I thought about these rich bastards taking over and canning everybody. And they're still getting their fucking bonuses, and these other people are getting fired. And I could have went that route, but I didn't. So it's like progress, not perfection, right? So I think I have made a lot of progress in the area of handling things as they come. Still could do a lot better, but that's the story I have today. Is like, when bad shit happens, how do you handle it? How do you maybe prepare for the future? And like, what kind of tools do you use to like, mark how well you did and like reflect on what you did? And my reflection comes from like, I started journaling recently. I'm not very good at it. It's like sporadic, but I don't like beat myself up if I don't do it every day, as long as I'm doing it when I need it. Um, I go to my meetings, I talk about it in my meetings, I talk with other people and try to get advice. That's kind of how I dealt with it. And I'm dealing with bad shit that happens. Um, so yeah, that's the story I have for today.
Yeah, definitely having a network to talk to about ongoing things is definitely a good thing because you get to see things from different perspectives. And It's like that saying, hope for the best or pray for the best, hope or what does it say? Expect
Uh,
the hope for the
pray
best,
for the
pray for the worst, or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Like you never know really you're gonna do like when the worst thing possible happens, but you can be mentally prepared for it. It doesn't mean you could be 100% financially or have the next door open, right? But you could be mentally prepared to go through whatever hardships. And I mean, I don't know. Since I got sober, every time a door closes, another one opens. So I've never had like an issue of being not prepared enough. Like it was meant to happen, and whatever opened up next was meant to happen, and it all kind of worked out just how it was supposed to. Um, as long as I was still living a decent lifestyle, and I could do, the old me, like in a situation that would be like, I'm gonna quit before you fire me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the fuck it mentality, just like I'm not gonna give you a chance to fire me. I think I'm gonna get fired anyway, so I'm out of here. Um,
yeah,
so I mean, the way we handle things is definitely way different, and it's never good seeing a whole bunch of people, lose a whole bunch of people that you like on a job or whatever. But it's always good to count your blessings and let you know that they see that you're doing what you're actually doing and you're doing a good job. That's what that's saying when you're still there and other people aren't. They're like, well, this guy does a lot of shit so we need to keep him around. You know,
right,
um, makes you not feel as expendable, I guess you would say.
right,
It's a way of them showing they're grateful for you without having to say they're grateful for you. You know,
right, right.
um,
Yeah, kind of two things on that. Like the first one is, yeah, I totally was like, I had those thoughts like I used to have, like, yeah, you motherfuckers, I'll just quit, or I hope I get that fucking email. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I guess I was kind of disappointed when the email didn't come in, right? Because it's like I was kind of expected it, and I was pissed off, like but again, I didn't outwardly express any of that. It was all just more internal, and it was like just dealing with it as it came through, and a lot of the people they got rid of, man, they were like way smarter and they did a lot more than I did. Like I guess couldn't believe some of them that went. There are obviously some that needed to go, but and that's just the way business is, these days. And I try to put perspective on it too. When I was looking around, I was like, okay, like is this just my company? And it wasn't. Like if you looked at the news that week, like almost the same day, Amazon and Microsoft and
yeah, you're
Google.
talking about the tech job shit. Yeah, massive layoffs.
Yeah, because I'm in the tech world. And so it wasn't just exclusive to my company, right?
No.
Yeah. So I put it in perspective, man. I just started doing some research and asking, Google a bunch of shit, and it's like it came up, and it was like that day, the same shit happened all across. 100 people, isn't really a lot because my company's small, like 18, 20,000. That's a lot, man. I couldn't believe some of these companies. It's like they make trillions of dollars too. Like Amazon's like $1 trillion company. So yeah, just putting it in that perspective, man, later, and looking stuff up and trying to like, you know, just put it in perspective. Like I was like, this is happening to me, because that's what we do is like, when we were actively using is like, this is happening to me. This is like exclusive to me, and it's really not. It never is, you know. Um, so
Yeah, I
maybe,
mean, I was kind of listening and watching that stuff in the news about the whole mass layoff of tech industries. You build it up, you get it running efficiently. Now you got a whole bunch of overpaid employees that are just milking the clock, not doing a lot. So they see who's actually doing a lot and who's
yeah,
not. So it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to cut out a whole bunch of these people that are essentially just getting a free paycheck at this point.
right,
I
right.
mean, but I was watching, I was like, damn, they're getting paid fat bank, and now they're not. They're getting
Oh
cut
yeah,
left and right. So I mean, if you're one of the ones that kept, that means your job, they need you in your role that you're doing,
yeah. One of the departments I was gonna apply to a couple years ago totally got cut. They're gone. Like, so thank God I didn't apply for that job, because I would have got it. I would have got it for sure. But I'm glad I didn't, man. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they need you in your spot that you're in, you know.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you got to think about it. If you're the person that built the whole program and the program's running smooth for years, you're kind of beat there. If
yeah,
you're a guy who fixes glitches and it's finally running smooth, eventually they're going to slim that department down. You know, whatever it is, like
yep,
it's the same with other jobs where they're getting all these machines to do stuff. Like you go to the stores, everything's like check yourself out, and you know you go to their drive-throughs, they have computers that take orders now. You know, like
yeah. It's even almost down to the point where they're gonna like someone's just making your food in the back and shoving it in a machine, and the machine gives it to you. So it's
yeah,
like, you know, less people. And you know, here's an interesting thought that we can add to this is that in my early recovery, I had somebody, I forget if it was my sponsor or something, but it's kind of a shitty thing that he said, but at the same time, it's like so true. It's like he basically said, you know, you're not as exceptional and unique as like you think you are, you know. And what he meant by that was like all this shit doesn't happen to you because you're so fucking special, you know, or whatever. And like,
yeah.
you
We have
know,
that, we think we're terminally unique. That our life, our situation, our disease, how everything went on in our life is so special. But
right.
when it comes down to it, like especially in the world of addiction, drug and alcohol use, like all different situations, same story, same feelings. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You can change the name, the places, the scenario. When you
Yep.
boil it down, it's all the same type of shit, and it affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide. So we're not fucking unique at all. Like some had it worse than others, some lost more than others. But the bottom line is the feelings are the same, and what are you doing to change? Um,
Right.
how you handle those situations and feelings, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, like even down here in this room, in the rooms down here outside of the Juggalos and recovery stuff, like there's one other guy and one guy that comes in and out that's a Juggalo, but I'm the token Juggalo. So that's the only thing that makes me different from everybody in the rooms is everybody knows I'm the one crazy Juggalo kid. Like,
hmm
and that doesn't make me unique. I'm just the only one in this fucking area in the rooms that's been long-term sobriety, you know?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and actually the other homie, he's coming up on a year next month. Um, and he's popped in a couple of these meetings. But I remember like I was sitting in the back, I'm the treasurer, and he came in the room and he's standing right in front of me, and I just seen all the tattoos. Like I looked down during the meeting and seen the tattoos, and I was like, whoop whoop. And he looked back and he's like, oh shit, whoop whoop. And now he's coming up on a year, like, you know. So he asked me last night, he's like, you watched me my whole recovery, right? I'm like, yeah, I've been watching. He's like, cool, I want you to give me my medallion next month on the 21st. I'm like, hell yeah, I got you, brother. Like,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
another one sticking around finally.
Yeah, man. I was telling somebody that they're like, well, why do you do those meetings? You know, because like they're different, like these meetings, the Juggalos and Recovery. And I was like, well, it's really cool and like kind of magical to see like, you know, a Juggalo actually get sober. And when we do it like viciously, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah,
I
I
every
mean,
yeah, you know,
we're not unique, but our lifestyle is definitely a little bit crazier
different.
than the
Yeah.
normal.
Yep.
The normal addict alcoholic spill, we go through some crazier incidences.
Right.
which, which is why when I found Drug Addicts Anonymous, like they're not juggalos, but damn sure most of them could have been, bro, because the similarities to the things we did, like I'm like, you would have fit right in if you
Right.
enjoyed the stuff. Like it's so relatable.
Yeah. It's like a little bit more wild and whatever, but like
Yeah,
like we were saying, in the end, it's the same shit, man. You know, the
yeah.
same shit. So yeah, man, it's cool. I'm just like I'm in a better place now. It feels good. I get that like I'm pretty sure I get like seasonal depression shit, and it's like brutal during the winter, and you know, and then like all this shit happens, and it's like in the past I most definitely would have just been drunk through the whole thing, or high, and like you know used it as an excuse to drive my drinking, and and usage and whatever. But
Seasonal
now it is.
definitely a thing. Like usually every year for me, it's right before I pick up my next medallion, like a month or two ahead of time, and get into a slump. But I guess because
Yeah.
I had like the wedding, the honeymoon, everything going on this year, I didn't really get no slump.
Nice.
But post holiday stress, after you done spent money and it's all the holidays and friends and family and all this money you saved up throughout the years took a hit, and bills in life, I have the post holiday stress, not depression, just stress. Like now I got to tighten up. Now I got to save money. Now I got to spend not so much because it's going to be the same thing next year.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then prepping for the stuff I want to do. So it's that crunch time, that buckle up. So the second half of my year is a good second half of the year. That's how it usually goes for me, at least, because all the holidays, all the family's birthdays, everything. It starts in the very end of May and goes. There's birthdays June, there's birthdays July, there's birthday August, there's birthday September, there's birthdays in October, there's mine in November, and then all the holidays. So I have
Yep.
the first half of the year to get ready for everything I want to do during the second half of the year and for the family and the birthdays and the holidays. So it's just that's the stress time.
Yep.
Uh,
Mine, I like picked up on it when I look at my Facebook. It happens every November. Like I can see, like just kind of like because, yeah, and
Cause our sobriety date is close. Yeah, like I hit the slump in October, and then like I'm good for Halloween or whatever, but I'm in a slump all October, and then maybe a week or two after November, after I pick up the next year, and then I'm like kind of good come Christmas and New Year's.
yeah.
Yeah, because yours is what, the 4th?
Well, yeah. Well, so April, right? But like the reason why I think mine happens in November is because like I'm in the Seattle area, and it's like the fucking lights get turned out. You know what I mean?
The weather. Yeah.
Yeah, because like we have these beautiful summers here, and it's like a couple months of just it's pretty magical here in the summer, and then like I said, it's just like someone hits the lights and it's like dark. It's not necessarily always rainy, but it does rain, like it drizzles a lot, and you know what I mean. So that's when mine usually starts, and then usually picks back up.
I thought your sobriety date was in November. I'm thinking of
Nah,
somebody.
it's on April Fool's Day, which is funny.
Yeah, on my anniversary. I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
My anniversary with my wife.
Yeah, funny day. It's a funny day to have as like a celebration, but
Only fools fall in love.
yeah. And then this year I'm gonna be at 5 years. Like
Yeah, me
universe willing. So yeah,
it's crazy. Universe willing, no. As long as you keep doing what you're doing,
right. Yeah.
it keeps going. When we quit doing what's been working since day one, and we don't find anything else to enhance where we're going, we get complacent or stagnant, and then quit doing those simple things and don't try to find nothing new. That's when I see everybody fall off. Like, that's usually it. When you're failing to enhance your spiritual life, or failing to grow as a human, and you quit doing the things that have worked for you, whether it's prayer, meditation, meetings, fellowship, being involved with a group of friends, whatever, using your network to talk things out, whatever it is, then that's usually like the relapse happens mentally way before the drink and the drug. That's what I see with long-term sobriety, at least. Like,
right. No, I agree.
when somebody
I think
relapses and they look in hindsight, they go, yeah, you're right, I wasn't doing X, Y, and Z.
mhm.
I hadn't been doing it for a year.
Yep. I think that's where I came out ahead in all of this, is that because I was doing all this shit that I usually do, and it wasn't like doing like really anything for me. If that, I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it, but it was like, I'm doing my service work, I'm doing my exercise, I'm doing all this shit, and it's like I still felt like fucking garbage, and it was like, well, what can I do to like, further that, what can I do to So I started looking online. Like I said, I picked up a journal. Um, I do this like blessing box stuff, and I picked that up a little bit, got some donations and got that hooked up. And so I started feeling a little bit better. But you're absolutely right, man. You quit doing those things. Like, sure, it wasn't doing anything for me. Like, I was still bummed out or whatever. But like, if I would have just stopped doing all that stuff, like,
You wouldn't have
yeah,
been bummed out. You would have been
right,
losing
right,
your shit.
right. So yeah, man, you're absolutely right. Just got to keep going. Like in the face of like adversity, just keep moving.
And then,
Yeah.
like Chris always says, try something new, do something for you. You know what I mean? And that's true, man. Sometimes you just got to do some shit for you and do something that you want to do something new, right? Because that's that enhancing that growth, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
this mundane thing I've been doing through day one is kind of boring, and I'm not getting nothing out of it anymore. Let me throw something in there to shake it up, so it makes life a little bit better. Like, and me, I do a lot of behind the scenes shit around here, so I'm like more behind the scenes. So like right now, because I'm big in the DAA movement down here, is I have to make formats and flyers and stuff for new meetings starting, so I can help them get up and running. And then I got some other things going on, and then I have my sober paintball event coming up. So I'm always doing some random stuff like that, and trying to make sobriety fun and trying to help start and spread the message for
Yeah, man.
the people that aren't juggalos, but they're pretty close like us, and they've been to jail and prison a bunch of times. They've been to treatments 30, 40 times. The hopeless variety.
Yep.
Those are my people, um, and trying to spread hope. Like, if I can go through all this crazy shit in my life and live the lifestyle I did and get sober, then fuck it, anybody can. And our stories are kind of similar, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
um, from our lowest of lows and what we've been through in life to where we can go is insane. So for the, people that are like me is the ones I'm trying to help, and even the ones that aren't as bad as me, it lets them know it doesn't have to get that bad before you change your ways, or do something different.
Right.
And then, which that's always nice to see somebody who doesn't have to lose it all and hit complete rock bottom multiple times to get it,
Yep.
I would listen to some people in the rooms and in my life before I destroyed it so many times over,
Right. Exactly. Just would have listened a little bit. I think I would have been better off. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up for the day. But man, I'm really glad you're here today. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
these meetings
the
and when
last
people show
couple
up.
Sundays I was a little busy, so I didn't
All good.
join. Tied up at
All
the
good.
time.
Yeah.
I joined
All
when I
good.
can. My last few weeks for all the meetings I've been kind of fucking, it's been hit or miss with